I'm at Tournesol in Lacède, Quebec. This is a cooperatively run 17-acre farm, 12 acres of production. And I'm not going to have time, unfortunately, to show the entire farm today, but we are going to look at the seed saving operation. Now, I've never done a video on seed saving before, and I've had a lot of requests to do so. So I'm going to be talking to Daniel Brisbois, who's actually the author or co-author of the crop planting guide for organic growers that was published on the Canadian Organic Growers publication a number of years ago. So he's a very experienced grower, 20-year seed saver, and we're going to talk about the economics and the production and what it really takes to grow seed commercially on the farm. And this is an exciting interview. I've been meaning to connect with Dan for the last year. We've been friends for a couple of years. We met down at Permaculture Voices in California 2 or 3 years ago. But we're going to look at some of the infrastructure they use and talk about the economics that they're doing to make this farm happen. And it's pretty impressive because they can do about $150,000 on 3/4 of an acre of seed, which is amazing for a farm like this. All right, let's get into it.
We have 6 beds here that are in seeds. We have another block that's 8 beds, about similar size to this, that's about 1,500 feet on the other end. That's for isolation distance, we kept it. And then we have a couple beds on the edges for things that don't need as big isolation distance, like beans or tomatoes. And then we also have a field about 1 to 2 kilometers in the middle of a neighbor's organic field. So it's in the middle of a soybean field. We have 4 beds of squash out there for isolation. So it comes to 3/4 of an acre of seed about. As a worker co-op, we had 5 people who were the same people from the beginning of the farm, until now. So we were able to have different people pursuing things that they really liked. And so I liked seeds, and I kind of pushed the business in that direction, gradually. But had it just been 1 or 2 people, we couldn't have expanded the same way.
Right.
And we've done a little bit of what else have we did herbal teas for a while, and dried tea mixes and dried culinary herbs, and that was interesting. But we've once we started having babies, we kind of phased that one out. We're doing cut flowers, but we really focus on at the farmers market for that, and we have a cut flower share as part of our CSA. But we've made the choice, we do very little events, or we really don't feel like dealing with the logistics around weddings and that kind of thing, and we haven't had to, because we have the vegetable business that is the bulk of our income. So right now we have about 3/4 of an acre that's growing seed crop in any single year, and we're generating about $150,000 of gross sales of seeds. About 70% of the seeds that we grow on farm, and then we contract out to a number of other growers that we get certain varieties. We just don't have the space to grow on site, and then we also get some stuff in from the west coast of the U.S. A couple other wholesale producers, but so about 70% of our sales are coming, or 70% of our product is coming from us.
So 70% of that 150,000. So that's like, what is that? That's almost 100. That's 100. You could say $100,000 on 3/4 of an acre of seed.
Yeah,
that's pretty amazing. Because I mean, a lot of farms don't even do that as veg production.
That's true. Yeah.
On that size.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
So some of that is in packets. Like a lot of that's packet sales.
So the premium.
Yes, there's a premium there. We do sell larger formats. For years we grew seed for other seed companies. Now we're still doing a little bit of it, but we've been cutting back because we just don't have enough space to grow as much as of all the varieties we need to sell ourselves in packets. So we're cutting down on that. But we have seed racks in about 60 stores right now. About 60 stores right now. So like on that, we're getting 50% of the price as opposed to the full price. It's like $1.75 a packet. So those are things that change some of the economics.
Yeah.
But the business is growing, and we're hoping to keep going for the next couple of years to see we don't want to be at too big, because
Yeah.
the larger you get, the more employees you have. Employees are great, but we want to kind of still feel like a family on the
Right.
farm. Of the seed that we produce ourselves, there's probably 3 people full-time that are in the summer. And so most of that work is going to be harvest and cleaning, but there also is, ground prep and planting. But so about 3 people full-time in the summer. And then in the winter, we're about 5 or 6 people full-time.
Just packing.
Packing, fulfilling orders. There's also a lot of strategic planning about where we're going to go the next year,
Right.
to see how we want to grow, what we want to grow the following year. And that's become some of our bottleneck now, is knowing what we want to do. Yeah, we're at a point, we're in an expansion point now, which is very exciting. It's really nice to have that opportunity, but we want to know that we're expanding in something we want to expand into.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to know, do we want to keep the crop mix as it is? Do we want to reduce? Do we want to increase? We've done a lot of changing in packaging. Do we want to mechanize packing? Those are all things that we're getting into. And then also just the land base, that 3/4 of an acre, we can only get so much. And this is the first year that there are a number of varieties that we thought we had like 2-year supplies of, and we sold out in 1 year, and we didn't have enough to get through the year. So we can't meet some of that need on site. So I think that, like, right now, about 70% of the seeds coming from our farm, I wouldn't be surprised if in 2 or 3 years that it's like only like 40 or 50%, and that we have a lot. So what we're probably going to start doing is, and we're increasingly doing, is that we are selecting the foundation or stock seed that we're going to again send out to someone else to grow, to increase. So we're making sure it's a strain of a variety that we really like, and we control the genetics, and then we hand off to another grower that we trust. And we have about 5 growers that we like working with, and though that grower will grow that seed out to a larger amount. I guess the seed production starts off in our seedling greenhouse, and it's kind of the first parts of the cycle is the same as for our market garden. So we seed things in the greenhouse, and we come out and we plant them in the field, usually on landscape fabric, and then we have to grow them as if they were a vegetable. So you weed them, you water them, you get them to a nice size, and then they go to flower. We want to make sure not to irrigate the flowers and the seeds once they start setting. So at that point we'll definitely be on drip tape. And then when it's time to harvest, we'll harvest either the fruit, as in the case of tomatoes or pepper or squash, or in the case of like arugula or beans, we'll harvest the whole plant. We'll cut the roots off to leave the dirt in the field. We'll harvest the whole plant when it's about 3/4 ready, and we'll bring it into the greenhouse, and we put it down on big pieces of landscape fabric in the greenhouse, and we let things continue drying in there. And we don't let them dry in the field, because if it rains, even like a lot of dew can create problems of things molding or germinating. So we bring it into the greenhouse, we spread it out, we let it after ripen. So once the seed is really nicely dry, then we have to thresh it. And so some of the things, like something like arugula or Nebraska green, we just have a tarp on the ground, we throw this stuff on and we stomp on it. From other stuff like beans or peas, which you could stomp on, but they take more work, we have converted a soil shredder. So it's kind of like a wood chipper, but for mixing up soil. So we've converted it to run on DC current instead of AC current, and we can speed it really low, or I can speed it down.
Oh.
And it just beats up the seed and shatters the pods once they're really dry. And we also, for like wet seeded crops like tomatoes or cucumbers or peppers, we also have a machine that will squish up the seed and extract the seed out of it. So we'll go through one of those machines. In the case of dry seeded crop, after it's threshed, then we'll run it through screens, and those are screens that most of them is stuff that we've made at home, though we have bought some like real seed saving for screens. Then we run it in front of box fans, like just like $20 box fans from Canadian Tire. And with the homemade screens and the box fans, we get about 95 to 98% of our cleaning done. And for years, that was as much cleaning as we did. In the last, I guess, 5 years, we've invested in some more machinery, like a fanning mill, an office clipper, and what's the other one called? Air column. So different machines that can get just really nice final cleaning on the seed. But I don't think it's necessary for I guess it's necessary for us right now because we're expanding and we're trying to bring our seed to the next level, and we really want it to be perfect. So
Yeah.
this gets out that last couple percent that we couldn't get out with box fans, which to the naked eye it might not be very different, but you know, you have better seed that comes out of that, and that's so after that point, if it's really dry, that's when we're going to store it, and otherwise, the only piece of equipment we have is we have a big kind of like a restaurant fridge that we've converted into a germination chamber. So there's like a light bulb that provides heat, and we have it on different timers. So during the day it's 30 degrees Celsius, and at night it's 20 degrees Celsius. And all the seed has to be germ tested once or twice a year to make sure that we're selling something that's alive. So we fill seeds by hand currently. So we have a set of scoops.
Oh, look at that.
We calibrate.
Oh, I like it. I like it. Oh, I like it.
This we saw something like this at High Mowing, so that's why we replicated that.
Yeah.
This is one of our seed cleaning implements that, you know, you put the seeds on top, they spin around, the round seed jumps out,
Okay.
and then the non-round seed stays in the middle, so you can separate things based on whether it's spherical or non.
Oh, crazy. It's so cool because it's such old school technology.
Yeah, this is old school and
but
nothing mechanical.
If people want to learn more about your seed saving and what you've got going on, where can they go?
The best place would be to check out my blog, which is www.goingtoseed.wordpress.com. I haven't posted a lot in the last few years, but there's a lot of stuff in archive about growing seed, and it's an easy way to get in touch with me also.
All right, guys, if you want to see more stuff like that, hit the subscribe button right now and that notification button next to it, and like and share the videos with your friends, and I'll talk to you later.